Isn't that just a glorious shot? That's probably one of the nicest shots to open one of my videos. But this is a lovely little village. It's a quaint village called Bulcote, and it's adjacent to Burton Joyce, and Burton Joyce itself is 34 miles outside of the centre of Nottingham. And these have to be some of the nicest cottages that I've seen. Absolutely beautiful. And Bulcote village is a beautiful little village, but it's one of those villages that you have to visit. You can't go through it. If you do try and go through it, you end up in the Trent. Not the best place to be in a car. Bulcote is a delightful little village. There's nothing here, there's no shop, there's no pub at one time of day. Everything here, all the houses, would have revolved around the large farm known as Bulcote Farm. There is a heritage trail though, which I didn't know, because I've not been here before, so. But there are no farm workers here now by the looks of things. There are a few old farm worker cottages further down. Now, it's one of those, how can I say, a Range Rover village. Hopefully you'll understand the meaning behind it, because there's no locals here now. It's just people that's moved in from the big city. I suppose it's little different to any other village in Nottinghamshire. And here's the delightful Nigma Walkenarii. Beautiful, lovely little spider this. And this one's to the side of the road here in the middle of Bulcote. And this is on lilac. It's the only one I can see actually. But this is an old village, but with several new interlopers. And this is one of them. Now there's a very autumn looking scene. It's a good year for sloe berries. So if you like your sloe gin, you're going to be in for some fun evenings over the winter if you go out and collect them. Beautifully coloured. It's a fabulous colour, the colour of sloe berries. And when it's fruiting against the flowers and developing flowers of ivy, it looks extremely nice. Despite the summer, it's a bountiful harvest this year. Despite supposedly being a farm, it's very inactive. I think it's just a farm pretty much in name only. I've yet to see a tractor, although there's signs saying caution tractors. But what magnificent old gates. They've had a few coats of paint over the years and could do with another one by the looks of them. This would have been a hell of a sized farm at one time. Behind me is Bulcote Farm, and this hedgerow here is full of ivy. Like it or not, we're already into ivy flowering season, and that means one thing: ivy bee. Well, it means a few other things, but a lot of people now associate ivy with the ivy bee, Colletes hederae. But it's also good for boxbug. Both species are here. And here's a bug that you might not immediately associate with ivy, yet it's found commonly on ivy during the autumn months, and there are numerous examples on here. And this is dock bug. Yet again, another of those recent colonisers of the county. It's now everywhere and very, very common. It's typically a species of waste ground, but roadside verges and untidy corners of fields, anywhere where dock, the main food plant, grows, but it will be found in nettle beds as long as there's some dock near. But it does love ivy. In fact, there's one just out of shot as well. It's very similar to boxbug, but boxbug is, although very similar colour, tends to be lighter brown, but boxbug is also narrower when viewed from above. But I'm presuming that ivy, being a great place for invertebrates to overwinter in, is one of the attractants for dock bug here. However, this one seems to be enjoying a taste of nectar. And here is boxbug. As you can see, structurally quite similar to dock bug, but this is a much more narrower insect. It's more parallel sided as well, as you can see. It's amazing to think that only a few years ago this species was confined to one area of Surrey, of Box Hill. Something's changed to allow this species to expand its range. I don't know what that change is. It could be climatic, but who knows? 20 years ago you wouldn't have dreamt or dared to have thought of this species now being common and widespread in Nottinghamshire, but that's what it is. It can sometimes take some finding, but the best place to locate this species is often in churchyards or cemeteries, especially where there's yew trees or ivy, as in this case. And adults and nymphs can be found right into the autumn. As you can see, this one's taking nectar via the rostrum from these ivy flowers. This, of course, is honeybee, Apis melliferae, and there are hundreds and hundreds of these visiting this ivy. It really is a super attractant. If you want to see lots of invertebrates, plonk yourself at the side of any flowering ivy. But if you don't like bees and wasps, step back a few yards, because there are hundreds and hundreds usually around most ivy plants. Well, it's been very nice actually, just plodding around Bulcote village. So yeah, there's not a lot here, but there is a heritage trail if you want to more prolonged walk around, and you can access the pits at Gunthorpe from here. But I've enjoyed myself just walking up and down the main street, found a few bits, all interestingly species relatively new to Nottinghamshire, and species that have moved north through the UK in the last decade or so. Quite remarkable how these species have now colonised Nottinghamshire and sites further north. Talking of further north, that's where I've got to head now, back home, but I think a stop for some refreshment is on the cards.